Welcome to the Global Home Inspector School Training Program overview. This is an informational video on how to train to become a home inspector in the great state of Iowa. I am Matt Fletcher, there on the left, and I'm a former high school construction trades teacher turned home inspector. I've been a home inspector for over 26 years now. And a few years ago, we started our own Home Inspectors Association and started our own courses to train other people to be home inspectors. Let's look at some of the reasons that home inspection is a pretty good trade to get into. So there's a low barrier to entry. Unlike an electrician or an architect, it doesn't take years and years of training to become a home inspector. It takes far less time. The training certification varies by state, so I checked on Iowa just before doing this video, and as far as I could tell, Iowa still does not have any home inspector laws uh, that require any kind of training to become a home inspector. Um, you should check on that yourself, of course. But as far as I can tell, they still, I think there's 14 states left that still don't have any home inspector training requirements. Here in Michigan, where we are, we're in Detroit area. We still don't have any laws here regarding home inspection, who can inspect homes and who cannot. A lot of us have builder's licenses, so if you've got a builder's license and some construction background, that is certainly a big help. There's low cost to get into the home inspection business, so if you've already got a truck and some ladders and some basic equipment, a computer, that's probably some of the biggest costs right there. Our students usually complete our course in about 30 days or so. There's about 30 lessons, and if you did a less than a day, you do it in 30 days. You know, if you did two a day, you could do it in 15 days. So, and each lesson is about an hour, I think, long, hour and a half, depending how fast of a reader you are. Some of them are like 8,000 words to read, and then others are more like 12,000. So they vary in size a little bit. So each lesson take about an hour and a half to read through, make some notes and things, and then we give you another hour to take the test. So there's a test for each lesson, and then there's a final. Earning potential. So as long as people are buying, selling homes, you'll have work, right? So people move an average of 6.5 every 6.5 years now. So that's unbelievable, but that's the national average. Inspection work cannot be offshored, which is great, and it cannot be replaced with AI, which is even greater. Flexible schedule. So most home inspectors are self-employed, giving them the control they want over how many jobs they take, the hours they work, the number of clients they want to take on, and they control their time off, their vacation time. And you can actually do it part-time or full-time. It's completely up to you. I've done it both. I've started out part-time when I was teaching and then full-time after they cut our program. And now I'm back to part-time while I run the school. So let's talk a little bit more about the training program. Like I said, I was a high school construction teacher. I actually have a master's degree in teaching and additional certification to teach construction trades in the great state of Michigan. And these are my students here. They're observing a foundation contractor pouring the footing for one of the houses we built. So in my class, we built a real house each year. The school district owned the land, and the kids would come to us on a bus and we would build a house. That was the class. So I use a lot of these pictures to train home inspectors now. They come in very handy, I've found, for training people to be home inspectors. So I have a lot more pictures in the structural lesson of the basement walls going in, the footing being poured, all the structural sort of stuff, the framing going on. I use all those pictures in my lessons. Same thing here, plumbing. We had a licensed plumber come in and we basically did all the work while he supervised. And he talked to the kids about the plumbing trade, things like that. But pictures like this that shows the underground plumbing underneath the what will be the basement floor come in very, very handy for teaching you. And most people tell me they love the pictures and the videos. They're visual learners, they say. So we emphasize that. There's another one. We're framing the house now. So we didn't do everything ourselves. We didn't do the plumbing. We had a plumber come in, the electrician, we'd help. We'd do most of the work, the roofer, but he would be supervising closely. But the framing we did ourselves. Me and the other instructor taught the framing. And we also put on the siding, all the doors and windows. We did all the trim inside the house, the cabinets, kitchen cabinets, bathroom, things like that. Set the tile. We did all that sort of stuff. And again, I use those pictures to teach you. Here's another one. So this is a concrete contractor, I should say, pouring our concrete porch on the front of the house we're building. And you notice there's a moisture barrier that goes up on the house. So that slab won't be that thick, but the siding will come down over that and cover that when we get the siding on. So there's a reason that we do that now. It wasn't always like that. We didn't always do that moisture barrier there, and I'll show you the reason right now. So this is the rim joist of a house right here, this wood part. You can see a couple little holes there. That's probably powder post beetles. I took this picture in a crawl space of a house I was inspecting. So the rim joist was completely rotted out. That's the concrete porch slab behind the rim joist. And there was no roof over this porch either. So that makes it even worse. And then if the porch slab happens to slope back toward the house instead of away, then that's even more trouble. So water's going to run toward the house and rot out the framing of the house there. So this was taken from the crawl space, but this could also happen in a basement. So you have to look for things like that when you're inspecting a house. And that's what we teach you to do. Here's another one. So this is an entryway for a crawl space. And you notice this downspout dumping water right next to the entryway. And this was negative grade here. You can't tell from this picture, but all this dirt kind of sloped toward the house. And this was actually like a funnel here. So all this water would just turn and go right into this crawl space. And there's a picture inside. So they had done some renovation work on this house, and they tore the floor out in the subfloor, and they let all the debris fall in the crawl space. And they didn't bother cleaning it up. So all that wood lays on this wet ground because there's no vapor barrier, no visqueen on the ground. And so the wood soaks up the water from the ground, and this probably floods. I mean, I can tell it floods. You can see the efflorescence on the wall from the flooding. A lot of cable wire laying there, construction debris everywhere, plaster and wood. So this rotting wood is like a dinner bell for wood-destroying insects. So powder post beetles, termites, carpenter ants can smell this from a mile away, and then they come running and say, hey, there's some rotten wood over here, let's go eat it. And then they can get in the house and eat the rest of the house down too. So we will teach you all about that in the lessons. This is all so no vapor barrier, that's a defect for your report. Rotting construction debris in the crawl space, that's a defect. The negative grade outside the house and the downspout dumping water right next to the entryway, that's a defect for the report. So I'm pretty well versed in how to build a house and how to inspect a house, but I'm not your only instructor. We got another instructor here, and it's this guy. His name is Dr. Joe Vaglica, Vaglica, if you want to look him up. Joe's a PE, professional engineer, and he also has a PhD in engineering. And Joe has taught construction courses here in the Detroit area at Macomb Community College, the University of Detroit, and Wayne State University. And that's how I met him. I took some of his classes, and we started talking. I said, hey, let's go in the inspection business together. So we started doing big commercial buildings together because Joe has a lot of experience in commercial work. And he actually designs and builds commercial buildings as well. He's not just a professor, he actually does construction. And so between the two of us, we had a lot of experience and we started doing inspection work together, and now we have the school together. So those are your two main instructors, Joe and I. So Joe isn't just a professor. He owns Gateway Engineering, located in Shelby Township, Michigan. And here he's out in the field doing some engineering work. This is actually a subdivision that Joe designed and built. He designed the road there. They divided the lots up because they do surveying as well. Joe designed the sewer system for the subdivision. So Joe is pretty well versed in stuff like that. Like I said, Joe has a lot of commercial experience in designing buildings, commercial buildings, and I have a lot of experience in inspecting them. And so we include small and medium-sized commercial buildings in our curriculum. So other organizations charge for that, just so you know. I think some charge 1,500 and others are up to 4,000 now for their commercial training, and we include it at no extra charge. This is that same building. We have a separate lesson on flat roofs because I thought it was important. We do a whole lesson just on flat roofs. You can see the sinkholes where the roof has been leaking and it's starting to rot there a little bit, and you got the sinkholes. Also on commercial buildings, you'll have the HVAC system, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So this is a furnace and an air conditioner. These big things here are vents, exhaust fans for the kitchen, because it was a restaurant. So you learn about things like that. We have another separate lesson on parking lots. So parking lots are a whole another subject unto themselves. So here, just a few things. You learn about the drainage in a parking lot, the parking striping and the directional arrows like this one here, the condition of the asphalt, of course, what to look for and things like that. Bollards, this is a bollard here, both of these. So those are protect the gas meter there. So we have a whole lesson and quiz on that. Bathrooms, commercial bathrooms or public restrooms, or whatever you want to call them. So they have to be handicap accessible many times. So we go into the clearances for the doors and turning radiuses for the wheelchair inside the bathroom, grab bars. Sewer scopes. So you get the home inspection training, commercial inspection training, which includes parking lots, flat roofs, and restrooms. And we also, believe it or not, include sewer scope training. So we have pretty robust lesson on sewer scope. We've been doing sewer scopes for about 15 years now, I think. And we have, I think, 14 or 15 videos on sewer scopes. There's a whole lesson on bacteria, things that can make you sick if you get any sewer water in your eyes or your mouth or whatever, you get splashed. So we teach you all the precautions you should take. And I always tell people, if you're going to become a home inspector and you start doing it, it looks like it's going to work out for you and you like it. One of the first things you should do is go out and buy yourself a sewer camera if you don't already have one, because you can easily add 15, 20 grand to your yearly income by doing sewer scopes. So you will learn all about that and how to market your sewer scope business. For instance, when I first got my sewer camera, I'd been doing inspections for several years and I finally bought a sewer camera. Should have bought it sooner. But I started doing them for free just to let the realtor, because the realtors would be there on the inspection. They go, "Oh, you got your own sewer camera?" I go, "Yeah, I'm doing it for free because I want to let people know that I have a sewer camera now." And so spread the word. And they would. Then they would call you and refer you business just because you have that sewer camera, because that makes their life easier, because now the realtors don't have to coordinate with someone else. like a plumbing company or just some guy that does sewer scopes. You already got your sewer camera. You're already there. You can charge a little bit less because you're already there. It's not a special trip. And sewer scopes have become pretty standard in inspections here in the Detroit area, and I suspect it's that way around the country, especially if you have old housing stock where you live. The average life of a sewer line is about 80 to 100 years. So if you got a lot of houses in commercial buildings in your area that are that old, you know, um, get a sewer camera. uh, we've even jetted sewers for people and snaked them out. If you got that camera, that's the key to doing the jetting and the snaking. You can really make some money that way. And again, we don't charge any extra for the sewer scope training. Other organizations, check around, charge usually about $500 to do sewer scope training. Again, shop around if you can find more qualified instructors and a better deal as far as the charge, $450 for our course, $450. I would encourage you to do it. First, call me and let me know who's charging less than we are because I want to know. But I would take their course. You're not going to find a better deal than this. I promise you that. So let's talk a little bit more about the school again. We are a licensed post-secondary proprietary school in the state of Michigan. Um, this is our inspection training website, which you may have already seen. In the top left, there's a blue box that says enroll now. So you can click on that button and put in your credit card information and get started on your training if you want. On the right side is a drop-down menu, student access, and under there is my courses, membership details, things like that. And when you go into the lessons, you will see this. Uh, there's a course introduction, which basically tells you what to expect. Things like, if it's bolded, it's going to be on the test. We're very straightforward with you. So we bold things that are important. We repeat things that are important. We have pictures of things that are important and videos of things that are important. So that's what they teach you to do in teaching school. They tell you, look, if you want your students to retain the information, they need at least 3 exposures to it. So we talk about it in the lesson, you'll read about it, you'll see pictures about it, you'll watch videos about it, and then you repeat it back to us in the test because you have to do an essay question. Let's look at that. So the lessons are in alphabetical order, so they're easy to find. So air conditioning, attics, so on and so forth, basements. I would recommend you not start with the attics or any of the mechanical stuff like heating and cooling or boilers. Start with something a little easier, a little less technical, like roofs or whatever. Unless you got experience with HVAC or boilers, then yeah, go ahead and do it. You'll probably do fine. So this is a quiz here, screen printed one of the quizzes. So this one was about commercial roofs. So parapet walls can be made of masonry or wood. That's true because you can frame them. Newer buildings are almost always framed instead of being block or brick or whatever. So there's true and false. There's multiple choice. There's something called hotspots where you hover over something and you click on it and it tells you what it is. So you can kind of quiz yourself that way. And then there's 2 essay questions at the end of the quiz. And the first one's just kind of a gimme. It says it's an extra credit question. So it says, what'd you think of the lesson? What do you think we could do to improve it? So, if you didn't like it, just say so. If you thought it was good, say so. If you don't have any suggestions on improvement, just say so, and we'll give you credit for that. You get 1 extra credit point for that. Help you pass the quiz, the test. So there's a test for every section. So there's a test on bathrooms, there's a test on flat roofs, there's another test on pitched roofs. There's a lesson and a test for every single category. Living spaces, lots and grounds, basements, plumbing, and then there's a final and you have to pass the final. So an essay question, it's don't Don't freak out because there's an essay question. Basically, all you have to do is repeat back to us what we just told you in that lesson. So this one was about flat roofs. So the last question is the essay, and it'll say, okay, now that we told you what to look for in flat roofs and what to check for, tell us how you inspect a flat roof. And then you just have to repeat back what you learned in the lesson. So make some notes and just repeat back to us what we said, and that's your answer to your essay question. It's real straightforward. After you've seen all the pictures and watched the videos and things, it should be a piece of cake for most people. Rarely does anybody fail a quiz. So the road to success is always under construction. I took that picture. I was a judge at a shed building contest for one of the school districts here. Well, several school districts were involved, but anyway, their whole team showed up wearing these shirts, and I thought they were the coolest shirts, so I took that picture. And that's a good lesson for you guys in construction. So if you've been a tile setter or a roofer or a painter or a handyman or whatever, and you want to up your skills and become a home inspector, that's the key takeaway here. You know, learn some new skills. You can make good money doing home inspections. Inspectors here in the Detroit area typically make between $400 and $600 per inspection. And you could do two a day when it gets busy. It's not always that busy. You know, in February, things drop off pretty drastically when the weather's bad. But in the summer, spring and summer, yeah, you can do two a day. You can make good money being a home inspector. That's why I stayed in it as long as I did. All right, let's do a little review. So you get complete home inspection course from the foundation to the roof. That's how you learn to be a home inspector. We also include small and medium-sized commercial inspection training. 99% of the time, that's all you're going to need to know, but we're going to add some bigger buildings too, okay? I'm working on that right now. But 99% of the time, it's going to be small and medium-sized commercial buildings, bars, restaurants, daycare centers, dentist office. Um, that's going to be your bread and butter. We also include a sewer scope training at no additional cost. You have 2 highly qualified instructors, and you get all that for $450. So like I said, I'm not kidding you. Check around. Sewer scope training is usually $500 just alone, and then small commercial, or I should just say commercial training. I broke it up into small and medium size. Other organizations just call it commercial training, and they charge, I'm not kidding you, 15 to I think $3,000 or $4,000 to do that kind of training, and we don't charge anything additional for that. Global Inspector Certification Association. So when you join up to take the lessons, you're joining the Home Inspectors Association that we started. If you have any questions, you can text me or call me at 313-510-0284. That's my direct number. Don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to try and put the hard sell on you. If you don't want to talk, you can text me. I'll answer any questions I possibly can. Thanks, and we hope to hear from you and have you as a student. Have a great day. Thank you.